Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what today is? Monday Morning Chats with Sack. And of course, you know it's me, Sakina, Sack. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. I had a good weekend, to be honest. I pretty much did retail therapy. I was trying to find like this shoe to match one of my dresses that still didn't come yet, but we'll see. I didn't get a chance to find that shoe, but I did find a nice pump, and the pump is pretty dope. I like it. And I was trying to find different suits. So last year I donated so many clothes last year, and I realized that most of the clothes I donated was business attire. Now I still have a lot of business attire. I still have to take out my summer clothes and put in like my fall, winter clothes inside my drawers, but I wanted to find more suits. And it was hard to find like a suit that I like. Now, I'm not that professional that likes to wear black suits all the time. I like suits that pop and that stand out. So I think for me, I just had to travel some more places to find some suits. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And I ordered a book. So let me get this book. So I'm almost done reading the book by Dorothy Brown. And this is called The Black Tax. Now, this person, Sean Rochester, he's not a tax professional, but this book has a lot of statistics and a lot of research about what the black tax is. What the black tax is pretty much is this idea that you're being taxed because you're black. And you know, if you know about history in the Jim Crow era, black homeowners and church owners were punished, and they were punished in a way by being assessed with high property taxes if they boycotted white white businesses and they had civil rights meetings. So that's what happened in the Jim Crow era. You can read more about that in Mississippi. There's a case that I printed out that I just found, and once I'm done reading, I will share it on my business page about what that means and how it's a sounding case. So I'll talk about that. And then I had disciple class yesterday. So I'm a leader in my church, and it's a 12-week class that we have to do. And it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. But then I got these flowers. They're beautiful. I got these flowers Sunday. Yeah, yesterday. They're just so beautiful. And they match what I have on. And it's my favorite color. So my favorite color is purple. So you can see the purple and like the fuchsia color. So I love these colors. So they're beautiful. So I'm really happy about those. But today I want to talk about two things, just reflections, because this Sunday is my birthday, and just talk about I'm teaching today. So in my class, every Monday it's a seminar, and I co-teach. So I don't teach every Monday, but I teach like every other Monday or whenever I'm scheduled to teach. And so for today, I'm teaching. It's a class called Client Centered Lawyering, and it's different than just being a basic lawyer. But when it's client centered, you pretty much put the ball in the client's court. And there's a new study that says it's more productive. You pretty much allow the student to. Oh, wait a minute. Let me hang up. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. I saw something on my alarm, and I was like, wait a minute, emergency? No. Um, but yeah, client-centered lawyering pretty much allows you to put the ball in the client's court, and allows them to figure out what they want to do in their case without the lawyer making all the decisions. And I like this method because it allows the client to pretty much have input in their case. It allows them to talk about it, right? But as a lawyer, where I kick in, is that I listen to the client. I have active listening. I listen to the client, and then I'll say, well, hey, I think this is a great idea. From a legal standpoint, this is what I think you should do. And when clients are being heard, it feels like they are a part of the process. And so I try to apply that to my life, and it's a question that I'll pose to you. When people talk to you, are they heard? You know, it's one thing for someone to pour out their heart and for them to tell you exactly how they feel. But when someone's talking to you, are you listening just to respond? And it's funny because sometimes I would talk to my friends. I never forget, this happened 2 times. I was talking to two of my friends. One was a male, one was a female. And I was listening to them. And I was silent. I didn't say anything on the phone. And I remember them saying to me, Sakina, are you still there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening. I don't want to interrupt you. And so when you're listening to someone, you know, are you listening just to respond back to them? Or are you really listening to what someone has to say? Does someone feel heard when they talk to you? Or do they feel like they're talking to a brick wall? And sometimes I realize that, hey, you know, that comes up with communication styles. Like, you know, how do you receive information? Do you just want someone to listen to you and then you say something? There's a difference between just listening to someone and someone asks you for advice. I will always tell someone, like, hey, if you want my advice, let me know. If you just want me to listen, I'm here. And I think that person would tell you. But are you actively listening to what someone has to say? And then you start to think about things and say, well, okay, I'm listening to this person. I'm actively listening, and this person is heard when they're talking to me. But then you take a step back and say, you ask yourself this question. Does this person only call me for bad news? What's the preface of our conversation every time we talk? Is it just for them to just tell me how they feel? Can I go to that person and express how I feel? Or I have to go to somebody else? But do this person are they always the barrier of bad news? Like, are they always the person that's just always calling for bad news? Like, there's never anything good. They don't ask how I'm doing mentally. They just pour everything out on me. And sometimes it's cool to just say, oh, wow, you know, I appreciate this person finding comfort in me to talk to me. But then you ask yourself, is this the only time someone calls you? Is this the only time that you're able to hear their voice when they're able to just tell you bad news? And so it just make you think. And so as I was like in deep reflection, this is my last Monday of being 34, I realized, like, crap, you know, when I go to the doctors, when you check the box, like, are you 35 and older? I'm like, oh, check. But there was something that I found on Facebook, and it was about disconcernment. So let me read this because I think it's just so powerful. Everybody thinks having disconcernment is so cute and fun to have, but it doesn't always feel that good when you hug people that you genuinely like and love, I add that, and you feel like they're not even for you. Or when people congratulate you on your higher levels and say how proud they are of you, but you literally feel they don't mean a word of it. You feel the envy, discipline, and wisdom then has to kick in and make you say thank you with a smile. That is some hard ass shit to do. Disconcernment isn't always fun to have, and you must know how to govern yourself with enlightenment. You can't get mad. You can't always call it out. You simply have to accept it for what it is and not be consumed by it. This, if I had to think about disconcernment, if I had to think about reflection, disconcernment pretty much is the title. And so I was looking around in my house, right? And I was just walking around and I started to like think about like the rooms that I spend the most time in. And I looked around, I'm like, damn, this person did this for me. Damn, this person did this for me. This person was here. This person was here. And then I read something where sometime with friendships, romantic relationships, you realize that you are the magical one. And I had to tell myself, hey, I'm the magical one in this. But you start to look around your life and you start to really think about things. And as I get older, I will always hear my mom say, you know, you don't need a crowd of people. You don't. Um, and you start to really think about who you want in your life. Like, who do you want? What makes sense to you? And I remember, if I would have disagreements with family members and an aunt or uncle will pull me aside and say, Sakina, just be the bigger person. And now that I think about it, and as I get older, because I'm very transparent, and I will tell you how I feel in a respectful way through to prayer, going to church, and therapy. And the one thing that I realized that when someone would tell me to be the bigger person, what they were pretty much saying to me is that I know how you feel, but put that to the side. I know this hurts you. Put that to the side and don't say anything. And I realized that it's not healthy to suppress your feelings. Like, if you feel some type of way, like, you have to let that out. Because if you don't, those suppressed feelings, like, as you keep burying them deep down, one day it's going to come out. And one day you may take it out on the wrong person that doesn't deserve it. And so how I always express myself growing up as a child to now, I like to journal write. I love to write in my journal. And now that I have a therapist, if I feel like there's something I need to get off my chest, I will talk to her. And the one thing that I realized that I'm proud of myself this year is that I'm not afraid to apologize. I'm not afraid to call myself out. But the thing that I did this year that I never did in the past was being able to label a behavior that I'd done. I asked my therapist one time, hey, was this toxic? And I never did that before. I would just say, well, I did this and I was wrong. But I never labeled it what it was. Like, I never labeled it. And when I told her that, she said, as a Christian, you got to season your words with salt. And I was like, damn, you're right. And she told me, she said, and no one never done this, I think you should apologize. Someone telling me, hey, I think you should apologize. And I did. Now, I can always apologize on my own. That's not an issue. But for someone else to tell me, hey, I think you should apologize, it opened my eyes and realized, like, hey, there's ways to go about it. And then after that, and just reflections and having this concern, I realized that I don't want to be the bigger person. I don't. I've been a bigger person for a very long time, since I was a child. And I say that because, I say that because it's okay to be hurt when someone hurts you. That's okay. But being a bigger person, that means I have to suppress my feelings and not feel anything and just allow that person to just hurt me over and over again. No. What I decided to do is to be wise. You accept somebody for what they are and you leave them alone. I don't have to be the bigger person anymore. I've been a bigger person my whole entire life. And now I'm just having the wisdom and the strength to say, hey, this situation is not for me. And just because it's not for me, it doesn't mean that I don't love the person, I don't love the thing or whatever it is. But I realize that, hey, I see you for who you are. I see the things for what they are. And I've learned that you can have a conversation with someone to express how you feel, but then it's a level of comprehension. Like, I would never argue with a dummy. Let's be clear. Like, I would never argue with a dummy because they would never understand me. And then I realized that sometimes you could tell someone how you feel. You could tell someone if your feelings were hurt. But can they really comprehend what you're saying? And then I realized that whenever you tell someone how you feel and they make it about themselves, then that just shows you that they're insensitive. That just shows you that you are talking to a brick wall. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes conversations are needed. And how you can tell if it's being received, sometimes people may not be able to express themselves how you want them to express themselves, right? And so let's say someone is telling you how they feel and they're quiet. That doesn't mean that they're not listening to you. That's just how they're receiving everything. But how you can tell when someone really listens to you, it's by changed behavior. It's by changed behavior. Like, I can't expect my male friends, like one of my close friends, my best friends is a male. I can't expect him, if I'm telling him how I feel about something, like if I'm hurt, I can't expect him to cry. Like, I can't. But maybe one of my girlfriends, we have like a group session. Okay, yeah, they may cry like, oh, Sakina, get the tissue. Let's get some wine so you cannot think about it. And I've learned that everyone responds to things differently. And just because they respond to things differently, it doesn't mean they didn't listen. But when you're talking to someone and they make it all about them, they are not listening at all. And so you have to really think about those things. And like, when you feel the envy of somebody, that is hurtful. That is pain that I don't want on nobody. Like, I don't want nobody. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me. But disconcernment, it's hard to have. It's hard. It's really hard. But I realize that, hey, I don't have to be the bigger person anymore. I will just be wise and accept you for who you are. Now, remember, I told you a while ago that I've learned to take the expectation off on people. People would do what they want to do for you. And when they do that, you see it. And you're like, you're showing me without telling me. So I have to accept it for what it is. And I realized that once I took the expectation off of people, it allowed me to be free. Because now I'm seeing what you'd rather do. But the envy kicks in. But having the wisdom and just saying, you know what? This ain't for me. I will always tell myself, like, I'd rather walk miles by myself than travel with a group of people that I know will never have my back. And that still stands today. That still stands. But the hardest thing is not to get mad or upset. You just have to just say, hey, this is exactly what it is. And it's so funny because over the last, I want to say last 3 months or so, I'll receive calls and like, hey, Sakina, I haven't heard from you in a while. A family member called me one time, was like, hey, Sakina, I haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? I said, you're right. You didn't hear from me. I didn't call you. And it may have seemed blunt, but I had to tell this person, like, yeah, we used to talk all the time. I said, we used to talk when I called you. But if I left it in your hands, I wouldn't talk to you. And this person was like, we got to change it. I said, no, I already told you how I felt. We had this conversation 3 years ago. I'm not going to keep bringing it up. I told you how I felt. And I was like, that's up to you. I said, my number didn't change. I said, if you want to call me, you have my number. It's 443. You know the rest. But I said, I'm not going to call you for what? I told you how I felt. And this family member got a little upset. I was like, but, I don't want to beat a dead horse. If you call me and I feel like talking, I'll pick up. If I don't feel like picking up, I'm not going to answer. And that's not me being mean. That's just, I'm treating you how you treat me. But better yet, I'm treating you because you showed me how you feel about me. That's not being mean. That's not. And just because people call you, it doesn't mean you have to pick up. Sometimes you can just, last week was crazy. I was in a week before last, I was in deep research mode. And I didn't want to really talk to nobody. There was probably like my top 5 people that I would talk to. But other than that, I didn't want to talk to nobody. And I was getting calls after calls. I kept like ignoring people. And my mom was like, Sakina, like, you're not talking to. I was like, Mom, listen, I'm in like deep prep mode. I was like, I'm sorry. Don't take it personal, but I'm in prep mode. Like, once my eye is on a prize and I'm focused on something, I don't let no distractions get in my way. No distraction. And I realized, like, hey, just because somebody call you, no, that you don't have to accept everybody call. And then you have to, and sometimes I feel it like, yeah, this person only called me about bad news. This person only called me about complaining. And I'm like in a really good place. And I want to be there, but I can't receive it right now. So I'm just not going to answer. But yeah, like I was getting calls like, hey, Sakina, I didn't hear from you in a while. I'm like, I didn't even know what to say. Like, it was like a text message. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, I just don't. I don't know. And it felt good. Like, it felt good. And I think I see you for who you are, and I accept it. And so I think sometimes people don't recognize their actions, but maybe sometimes they do. And sometimes they try to justify it, but I don't care. But I think you have to get to that point in life where you're saying, like, hey, don't be consumed by it. Still keep walking forward. Um, and I can say, like, reflections, that I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for the people that are in my life. Like, I'm just, like, my tribe that I have, they are solid. Like, they are so solid. And without a doubt, like, that's something I wouldn't question. You don't have to ask me twice, who's my best friend. All you gotta do is ask me once. I'll tell you who they are, who and how I feel about them. My tribe, when I need support, I don't gotta ask them twice. No, I had to ask them twice. Whether they're there physically or cheer me on because they can't make it, those are the people that matter. Those are people that I want to do life with. And lastly, what's her name? Jeezy's wife, Janae May. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. But she said something that was so profound. I'm not sure this was something that was pre-recorded, but I saw it on Instagram over the weekend. And the one thing she said was, people talk about how they want to find the love of their life. And that's the thing they've been searching for. But she said, I've been looking for that. I've been looking for, like, the love of my life. And I realized that I already found that person. It's me. It's me. And that was so profound. Like, everybody, of course, like, I desire to be married. I desire to be a helpmate. I desire to be a wife. However, before that, you have to learn to love yourself. Like, love every part of yourself. And the one thing I've learned when I look back over my life, especially over the last 5 years, so much progress have changed. And I've learned to love every small, intricate part of my life. And that's what makes me who I am. Like, just really love who I am. I look back over the last 5 years, I remember things that were said to me that were cruel. I remember the things that were said to me that lifted me up in spirit. But overall, I remember how those things made me feel. And I can look back and say, hey, they don't define me if they were harsh words. That was just someone's opinion. And everybody has opinions. Just like everyone has assholes, it doesn't matter. But the person that you should desire to love is yourself. Like, do you really love who you are? And can you accept it? I think that's one of the hardest things for people. Sometimes people go out looking for love and they're looking for all the wrong places. Like, some people will look at me weird, like, you can really enjoy being in the house by yourself? Yeah. I went out to dinner by myself before. I went out to the movies by myself before. I love who I am, and I can enjoy my company. And I enjoy company when I'm with someone else. That's a great thing. But if you can't love every part of yourself, how can you expect somebody else to love you? How can you really expect that? And if you can't love yourself, then you will expect so much from the person that's trying to love you. Because they're trying to love you, but there's so many sores and there's so many scars that you have not loved that you want someone else to put a Band-Aid over them or kiss them, but it doesn't really matter if you didn't heal. I'll share this last thing. One of the hurtful things someone had said to me, this was 5 years ago. This person, it wasn't even God, it was just, let's just say that it was something in my past. And this young man he told me he wanted to have a child so bad, and that wasn't something that I wanted at the time. And he told me that because I decided I didn't want to have a child with him, that he told me I wasn't woman enough to have one. And it was hurtful, right? It was hurtful. It was a hurtful thing. And yeah, I was pregnant at one point, but I did not proceed with the pregnancy. And I share that because at one point, that guilt, that hurt that I felt for some time, like it was something that I was ashamed of. And I was afraid to let people know. But once I got comfortable realizing, like, hey, that's my story, I didn't care who else knew. And I remember that I struggled with Mother's Day for 2 years. 2 years struggling with that because I was like, I could have celebrated that. But I realized that I made that decision for a reason. And I realized that, hey, I wasn't healed. And if I bring a child into this world, I'll be a bitter mother. We already have a lot of bitter mothers. I don't want to be added to that bunch. I want to be healthy. I want to be mentally and spiritually healthy before I bring a child into this world. And I'm at a point now where I am. But I had to go through some things to get there. So when I tell you that I love every part of me, I do. Whether I have a weave, this is a weave. Let me be clear. This is a weave. I have short hair. I cut my hair originally 9 years ago, grew it out, then cut it again. But I love every part of me. Sometimes I wear makeup, sometimes I don't. This makeup right here is like less makeup, a little bit of concealer, but my blush is popping. You see it? It's popping. And some mascara and some lip gloss, like popping. But I've learned to love every small part of me. I've learned to accept that there were some decisions I probably made in my life where I was like, damn, I should have did something else. But now I look at myself now, I am the best version of me. And I can only imagine what I would be in 5 more years, in 10 more years. So I inspire to be a better person. But while I'm inspiring now, I'm going to appreciate the journey. I'm going to appreciate every little minute of my life, every little second of my life. I'm not going to wait to enjoy life where I become this better person, because you always live and you always learn. But in the meantime, today, I'm going to appreciate Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to appreciate Tuesday. I'm not going to wait until I get to a certain place in my life to enjoy life. I did it once. I wanted to wait till I was done with all my schooling so I can just like have fun. And yeah, I gave up things, but I thank God for today. I do. There are so many good things coming my way, and honestly, I deserve it. And sometimes you have to say like, well, if it's in God's will, and it is. But I can look back over my life. I can look back over all the troubles, all the times I cried, all the times that I sacrificed. And I can say the blessings that I have now and the blessings that I will have, I deserve them. But I know that I'm always faithful. I keep God first. I pray to Him every single day. I talk to Him every single day. So I'm worthy of it. And this is something that I read this before, but I'm going to read this again. Have faith in your soul, hope in your mind, and love in your heart. I always had love in my heart. And I always try to act in love. And I have faith. I have faith knowing like the things that I pray for, I'm going to get them. But faith without works is dead. So I do work and I do pray and I do help others, because my success is just not for me. It's for other people too, to help them too. That's all that I have for today. I hope that you have a great Monday. It's a little cloudy where I'm at. I'm not sure where you're at, but it's not going to rain. I hope not. But I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you just never forget how amazing you really are. And I hope that people bring you flowers. They don't necessarily have to be like this, because they're beautiful. They are beautiful. They don't have to be like this, but I hope that people appreciate you. I hope that you're around people that really appreciate you. I hope that you're around people that support you and that cares for you and cherish you, because life is too short. I pray that you're around people that don't just give you flowers at your funeral, but give you flowers all the time. And it's not the actual flowers, but it's symbolic. Just being there, just by showing up. Those are the things that matter. I hope that you go into this week saying that you can do it and you got it. The things that you pray for, they will come to fruition. You will get what you pray for. I believe that. It is Monday, so your man crush. Monday. To all the dope kings out there, just know that you are amazing. You are great. Never forget how amazing you really are. I know that, especially for black men, it may be hard for you in certain settings that you're at, but just know that you deserve to be there. Like, you absolutely deserve to be there. And I'll shout out to the handsome king that got me these. You are amazing. So, thank you guys. Have a great day. And trust your dopeness. Like, really trust it. Because it is amazing. Trust it. And watch how far you go. Take care.